Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Martin Steppen, coming to you from glutathione.fans.com, and I am on the line here this evening with Stephen McNamara, a good old friend of mine. For about the last 15 years, we met back in a former business venture. And tonight, Steve's got a great story to share with everybody, glutathione recovery story. And but we're going to do a little walk down history lane first with Steve and explore some of the experiences he's had, because he's had more experiences with glutathione technology than just the nano stuff that is the star of the show tonight. But so welcome, Steve.
Thank you, Martin.
And you're actually, as we mentioned in the video short that leads into this that was our invitation, a National Construction Safety Officer, correct?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, got that right. So we met about 15 years ago, and we both had some unique experiences with precursor technologies to glutathione. And so tell me a little bit about, and our viewers, a little bit about how you got introduced to that.
So I had a large restaurant in Barrie, which is just north of Toronto. One of the customers came in one day and introduced me to the precursor glutathione. I was interested in it, and I ordered a bunch. And as luck or bad luck would have it, the day after it showed up, we sprung a leak in the kitchen. I climbed up into the roof over top of the stove. As you know, industrial kitchens can be pretty slippery. The ladder gave way. I ended up falling and breaking my fibula, I think, and cracking my tibia. Somehow I managed to make it home that night, and I called the guy who had introduced me. He got a doctor on the phone, and he said, take everything you got, as much as you got in the mail yesterday. I went to the hospital the next morning. They said, come back in a week and we'll put you in front of an orthopedic surgeon because it looks pretty bad. I went home and I took a week's supply every day for a week.
Supply every day
for a week, and I basically slept. Like, I woke up, I took as much as I could, I passed back out, I was in bed for a week. Went to see the orthopedic surgeon 6 days, I think it was, after. He looked at the new x-rays, asked me to stand up and walk across the room, and he said, I don't ever need to see you again.
Wow.
Oh,
first of all, I want to say to everybody, it's not probably advisable for the average Joe to take 8 times the normal adult dose of a precursor product, especially because there's a big difference between a macronutrient and a nanonutrient and how they work. That could actually, depending on how long you're doing that for, could not only is going to cause some serious detox, potential, but it could also be toxic, period, just because your body can't process it, right? So in your case in particular, because of the break, your body was clamoring for a whole lot of glutathione in order to, rebuild and regenerate. So there's a little bit of a difference there. Yes. But so you didn't get a cast or anything at all?
Nothing. I did wear an air boot just for work in the restaurant for a while, just because I was more because I was nervous than anything. But he told me, he said, I never need to see you again.
So
but wow.
Let's absolutely get this straight. You had an x-ray to start with that showed a broken femur and
not femur, tibia and fibula.
Tibia and fibula.
Yeah,
okay,
we're both cracked.
We're both cracked. And then inside a week, without wearing a cast or anything,
I basically, like I said, I took so much of it that I basically was detoxing and slept almost the entire time. Like
Wow.
I woke up just to take it, but I was talking to a member of the medical advisory board
Mm-hmm.
while I was doing this, so it wasn't just like I did it under a doctor's
Yeah.
kind of
I'm
supervision.
going to get you to sit back from the camera a little bit,
Oh,
just
sorry.
because you're filling the whole screen, and if
Okay.
when I go to cut that down, it's probably going to be a challenge. So
Sure.
anyway, but that's man, that's incredible results. So 15 years forward, or well, before we even go 15 years forward, over the course of the last, I guess, 12, 13 years until you started with the nanotechnologies, did you notice any other benefits in terms of utilizing, the precursors?
Just I mean, I never really got sick or a cold, and
Right,
I'm usually when I get like a chest cold, it's pretty bad. I
right.
As a kid, I ended up in the hospital in the oxygen tents every time I got a chest cold. So
So
didn't have many since then.
So at least general immunity and
Yeah.
your overall sense of wellness was a lot more stable, let's say, right?
Yes.
So then a few years ago, or 2.5 years ago, something like that, you're introduced to the nanotechnology, and started leveraging that. And what was the first thing you noticed with that?
I had been off of the precursors for a couple of years, so just again, I noticed I was feeling better and everything. Nothing as dramatic as the first time, obviously,
Right.
because I wasn't taking mega doses or anything, but I knew that glutathione was something that I needed. So
Mm.
I was, as soon as I heard about the nano version, I was on board right away.
Right on.
Yeah.
So you recently then had an interesting war with a grinder, as we said.
Yes.
And how did that happen?
So this past summer, I was rebuilding a deck on my house, and I had to modify a bracket. Um, Again, I'm a national construction safety officer. I was doing everything right. I had gloves, goggles, long pants. I had removed the battery to change the blade, put the battery back in when I was done, and I dropped my glove. So I threw the grinder under my arm and went down to get it. It has a two-way switch, which when I'm trying to use it, I usually can't even activate it. But somehow when I leaned down, it slid forward, activated the one switch. When I stood back up, it slid the other way and activated the second mechanism and ran up my bicep. And it actually hopped and did a smaller cut beside it.
So you had it slung over your shoulder,
No,
kind of thing, or
I threw it under my arm,
just like this?
Yeah, leaned forward. It hit one switch. Leaned back. It activated the second mechanism, and just ran up the arm.
We're gonna make a compensation video with you if you're not careful. So
They say the safety officers are usually the first ones to get injured. So
yeah. So anyway, we'll throw a picture up there. I think you sent me a picture of the cut. Did
yeah,
you send me the original, like, before you actually?
I had two. So I think I sent you two different pictures. The first one was actually in the hospital just after they'd stitched it. I didn't take one of while it was an open wound.
Right.
And then I think the second picture is
Well,
2 days later. I was a little bit of shock to take a picture when it was open, but
well, and Krista, was Krista around or no?
yeah, she wasn't too happy with me.
She didn't think to take a picture, or was she on the
No,
floor?
she was grabbing the first aid kit, and
So show us where the cut is right now.
so I don't know how well you can see it.
Yeah.
So that was the main cut. It had 5 stitches and I think 3 tubes of crazy glue, and then it hopped over and did a smaller one just through the edge of my tattoo.
Yeah, I can see that.
You can see that, but
No, the good thing it was there and didn't come up and get you up here, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that would have been a whole nother ball game.
Oh, yeah. It could have been a lot worse.
Yeah. So right on. And so when you started, you were taking Nano Swish, and you started the Nano Glutathione rather, and you were taking or utilizing the topical glutathione, right?
Yes. So the next morning, when I went to redress the bandages, I actually put the oral stuff right on the cut, like poured that on the cut.
Oh, okay.
Because I knew it was a higher concentration, right?
Right.
I poured that on, and then I sprayed, and then I rebandaged, and then probably at least 3 or 4 times a day. That day I did that,
Mm-hmm.
and then every day after that I was doing it two or three times as I changed the dressings.
Mm-hmm.
But so the second picture I think is only 2 days after, and you can see a dramatic difference already.
Right.
So, and then
Cool.
here's where we are now. So
Did you notice? Because a lot of times we hear from people, with wounds and things like that, and they say, "Well, Bill mentioned about his teeth in the previous one of the previous episodes, and he noticed that there was no pain from the abscess and everything." So yourself, what did you notice any difference?
no, yeah, it wasn't a lot of pain.
No.
No,
Okay.
there was bruising and everything, obviously the next day, but even the bruising went down faster than normally would have been, I think.
Yeah, I've seen bruising go away pretty quick with that too. Sometimes overnight even. So it's pretty amazing. Actually, I was down in Toronto at one of our partners has a nano oxygen tub therapy type thing that we were utilizing, and I was testing for my neck because of my car injuries. And when I stepped out of the shower, I slipped on the tile floor, and the top of my foot actually caught the bottom of the sink credenza or whatever you call it there, the cabinet, and like my whole foot swelled up like a basketball, well, maybe not that big, maybe like a big softball or something, right? And turned completely black. And so I started spraying immediately with the topical product, and I take like 3 doses of the nano oral stuff every day, so I didn't really change that. But doing the topical stuff about 5 times a day, that day, and then by like mid the next day, the bruising, the entire thing was gone.
Hmm.
So yeah, so bruising definitely is a big thing with that stuff. So, but yeah, we appreciate your time. Glad it wasn't your neck and it was your arm. Wish it wasn't either, but it's great to be able to share that with you. And if anybody here wants to chime in and unmic themselves to ask a question, feel free. But other than that, we will make sure that um, the pictures that you sent are put into an overlay so people can actually see the difference between just 2 days. And aside from that, just so everybody is aware, like it says in the channel, this is not, we're not purporting to be doctors or giving any kind of medical advice or suggesting that glutathione itself is any kind of cure or treatment for disease. But if you go to pubmed.gov, which is the U.S. National Library of Medicine and the largest repository of medical studies anywhere in the world, and you search on glutathione, you'll see that there are over 180,000 publications, citations that either directly or indirectly link glutathione depletion to just about every condition, to recovery, to athletic performance, you name it. So it really gives you a good indication of just how important it is to supplement with glutathione above anything else, because there's nothing else that comes close. So really appreciate your time again, Steve. Has anybody got a question for Steve?
Ask one. If you don't mind answering, Steve, how old are you?
I'm going to be 55 in 2 months.
Okay. Yeah, the only reason I ask is because obviously people that are older have lower glutathione, so they don't heal up as fast. And when we see these types of healings in people that are, you know, I
Don't
hate to
say
say the word
elderly.
older, over 50, yeah, it's pretty remarkable that, you know, like as you are aging, that you can actually heal up even faster than the rate of a child
Yep,
by upping this,
absolutely.
right? So
Well,
that's,
just
yeah.
keep this in mind, Steve. In 2 months, you'll be able to get a discount at Shoppers Drug Mart.
Yeah.
First time that happened to me, and the lady said it at the counter. I just looked at her and went, "Are you serious?"
Yeah, same. Pardon?
All right.
Yeah. So when you put the product, you say you put product on it, Steve, did you put like the switch right straight on it, or was it the spray?
I actually did both. So I did the oral stuff. I poured it right on. I put it on a cloth. Actually, put it on the bandage, and then put it on top so it was stay on there. And I was also spraying. Just like I said, I knew that the oral version is a stronger concentration, and I wanted the best thing I could get on it at the time. So
Yeah.
Well, the thing about the spray is it also contains hyaluronic acid, which is, good for the hydration of the skin, and the collagen, which is good for the repair of the skin, right? So, whereas the oral product has a higher concentration of glutathione, so the combination of the two certainly isn't going to hurt, right?
yeah, that's what I figured. So.
Healing from the inside and outside.
Yeah, it's amazing stuff.
Difference.
Mhm.
That's the difference.
All right, folks, thank you very much for your time here today, and I will sign off and say good night.
Okay.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good seeing everybody. Thanks, Steve.